Hey guys, welcome back to the shed. In this video we're going to look at making a GoPro mount for a helmet out of clear acrylic. Hope you enjoy. Okay, for this build you're going to need the helmet that you want to put the mount on, some body moulding tape, heat gun. I've got a couple of offcuts of acrylic here and they're 50mm wide. I've got a long strip of acrylic which is again 50mm wide, a couple of rulers, knife, marker, GoPro mount and spray bottle with water. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, the helmet I'm mounting this on is just a cheap helmet from Aldi, which is, I find, really comfortable and decent for road use. It's got this built-in sun visor and all that sort of stuff. I've already got a GoPro mount on the side here, but I want to make one to mount on the chin piece. A lot of people prefer that because it looks more natural, like you're looking from a riding position on the bike rather than seeing the side of the helmet in the GoPro view. So we'll have a crack at making one and mount the camera on the front. Okay, what I'm doing here is just getting a rough idea of the area where I want to stick the mount. And you need to make sure that you've got a reasonably flat section here. It doesn't have to be dead flat because we can mould the plastic to the shape of the helmet. But the section at the front here, you need a nice flat section to actually stick the GoPro mount to. It has to be flat. If that's curved, then this isn't going to stick properly. So that's where these pieces come in. When I heat the acrylic up and bend it, I'll clamp those around it, heat along the edges here and bend that back, and that will make sure that this center section stays flat. So we want to allow a bit of overlap here, our flat section at the front here, and then curve around the other side as well. So I'm just going to have a rough guess at the moment by running this around and just mark roughly where I want to cut. Okay, for this helmet, that measurement worked out at roughly 300mm. So we'll square off at 300. Mark there. Okay, and I'll go to the centre of that at 150. Put a mark there. Now, because I'm using these pieces to keep this centre flat when I bend, and they are 50mm long, I'll go to 25 each side of that, and that'll give us a rough idea of where we have to bend. Draw those across. Okay, well, that's our measurement all set up. I'm going to trim this off through here, ready to bend that. Okay, as far as cutting this goes, all I'm going to do is hold the ruler in place and just scratch across. Do that on both sides, which is pretty easy because you can see the line through the clear acrylic. And snap. Okay, looking at the front of this helmet, I'm just having a bit of a guess at this, but coming out, say 25mm each side, if we follow the contour of the helmet, looking at basically a 45-degree bend if this was square across here to follow the curve of the helmet, the chin piece. So I'm going to bend the acrylic at roughly a 45. Don't be too stressed about getting the angle perfectly right because we can heat it up later on and shape it to the helmet so it fits perfectly. Okay, as far as the bending goes, I've prepared the plastic by clamping these two extra pieces across that middle section. And what that will do, as this heats up, it'll stop the heat getting into the middle piece, but if it does, it'll also give me a sharp line here to bend against and hold this center piece flat so that we've got a flat section to stick our GoPro mount onto. Okay, fire up the heat gun. It's gone fairly soft already, so what I'm going to do is hold that up roughly 45 degrees and then hit it with a bit of water. Just cool it down straight away, and there we go, nice and solid. Same with the other side. 45 degrees or so. The water. There we go. As I said, it doesn't have to be perfect because we can fine tune it later on. Okay, here's our plastic piece. And if we bring it up to the helmet, it's a fairly good fit. Okay, so now what we have to do is mould these side sections so that they follow the contour of the helmet. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is heat up the end sections here, and while they're hot and nice and soft, I'm going to bring this up and just mould it down and hold it until it forms to the shape of the helmet and cools down and locks in place in the right shape. Okay, so out with the heat gun again. I'll do one side at a time on this. If you had someone helping, you can always hold this in place and get them to spray it with the water and cool it down, and that would lock the shape in place. Okay, so there's one side done. Beautiful. I'll give that a spray just to make sure it stays in place. Okay, give that a wipe. And then we just repeat on the other side. Okay, all I'm going to do now is just mark the section that comes in contact with the helmet on both sides, just so I know where to put the tape. But now that I've marked those, I can put the tape on the inside, but first I want to just tidy up these corners, round those off with a file, bit of sandpaper, whatever you've got. Finish those off so it looks nice. I'll get rid of some of these other marks and then we'll be ready to stick it on the helmet. And just remember, when you're working with the acrylic and you've got some rough edges, good tip is just to use a blade. Just drag it along. Move the blade around as you drag, just to round the edges off a little bit. You can file first to shape your corners and stuff like that, but if you finish off with the blade, you'll end up with a nice clean edge. Okay, next I'm just sticking some of the body moulding tape along the contact section there where it hits the helmet. Like so. I'll tidy those edges up in a minute. Both sides. And trim those up, get them nice and tidy, and then we'll stick it onto the helmet. Okay, we're ready to go. I've taken the backing plastic off the tape. Make sure your mounting surfaces are nice and clean on the helmet and on here before you put the tape on, and try and get this in the right spot the first go because it does stick pretty well. Okay, there we go. All mounted, ready for a GoPro mount on the front. If you find you've got any little gaps or anything like that, you can always grab your heat gun and just carefully heat the plastic up. Make sure you don't heat your helmet up because you'll damage it. And once you get this soft enough, you can just mould it. Even with the tape on there, the heat won't affect the tape. It still sticks really well. So you've got a nice tight fit where you want the tape. If you want it stronger, you can put more tape on and mould it further along. But it's pretty good tape, this. Nice and strong. Not going to go anywhere. Okay, simple little job. Works really well. The advantages I've found of using the GoPro on the front of the helmet are it's very easy to start and stop recording, pushing the button. And you can also see the indicator light on the GoPro to show you that it's recording. There we go guys, another project done. Hope you enjoyed that one. Ride safe. And we'll catch you on the next one. Cheers!